Today, we are going on an absolutely epic journey. We're going to follow the 5 billion years story of a single atom, an atom that started its life in the heart of a dying star and ended up, right now, inside your body. It's the story of where we all really come from, and it was pieced together by a scientist who saw the beginnings of life in what everyone else just thought was, well, dust.
And I have to start this off with a bit of a personal story. I was incredibly lucky to meet Professor Mayo Greenberg way back in 1988. And I went in thinking we were going to talk about, dust. But his passion? Oh man, his excitement for these tiny little specks floating out in space was just completely contagious. He didn't see dust, he saw the actual seeds of life. And honestly, it changed the way I've looked at the night sky ever since.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to follow his lead and go on that same journey. We're tracking the life story of one single carbon atom, from its creation in a star to its trip across the cosmos, and finally to it becoming a part of you. This is way more than just astronomy, people. This is your origin story. Okay, so let's get into it. The journey for our little atom kicks off in the vast, freezing cold emptiness of interstellar space. And its very first home is a tiny grain of cosmic dust. But this is not the kind of dust you're imagining. Not even close.
Wait, hold on. So space dust isn't just round fluff, like little specks of rock just floating around out there? Exactly! That's what everyone thought. But back in 1968, Mayo Greenberg just dropped a bombshell on the entire scientific community. He proved that these interstellar dust grains are actually elongated. They're like microscopic needles. And this was a total game changer, because these needles could line up with magnetic fields, which, as you're about to see, changes absolutely everything. They're not just passive bits of rock. They're active little anchors for chemistry to happen.
So here's how our atom finds its first little house. It all starts with that tiny, needle-like core of silicate that gets blasted out of a dying star. Then, as this little core drifts into a really dense, cold cloud of gas, what we call a molecular cloud, gases like water and methane literally freeze right onto it. They form this thick, icy mantle. And our carbon atom? It's now trapped inside that ice, riding on a tiny silicate needle. That's Greenberg's core mantle model.
And listen, when I say cold, I mean it's hard to even imagine this kind of cold. We are talking 10 Kelvin. That is minus 263 degrees Celsius. It is so cold that any gas that touches that dust grain freezes solid, instantly. And this ridiculously extreme environment, it turns out to be the perfect laboratory for the next and most crucial step in our atom's journey.
Okay, so we've got our atom. It's hanging out in this simple, icy dust grain. But it's not going to stay that way for long. It's about to get a complete cosmic makeover, all thanks to the radiation from stars being born nearby. Okay, so let me get this straight. You've got these tiny, ice-covered needles just floating around in the blackness of deep space. What on earth happens when you hit them with powerful ultraviolet light from new stars, not for a day or a week, but for millions and millions of years?
You get yellow stuff. I know, it sounds kind of funny, but this is honestly one of the most amazing discoveries in this entire story. Greenberg didn't just guess this. He built a machine in his lab in Leiden. He recreated those insane 10 Kelvin conditions, he blasted his homemade cosmic ice with UV lamps, and he literally made this stuff, a sticky golden yellow organic gunk.
So what is this yellow stuff, really? Well, it's a complex cocktail of what we call prebiotic molecules. Basically, the non-living chemical ingredients that you need to get life started. The UV light acts like a little engine, breaking apart the simple water and methane molecules in the ice and letting them reform into much more complex, interesting structures. Our carbon atom isn't just a lonely atom anymore. It's now part of a complex organic molecule, a true building block of life.
But here's the thing. Just creating the building blocks isn't enough. Before they can ever hope to become life, they have to pass through this bizarre and unbelievably specific cosmic filter. It's a test that only half of them are going to survive. Now, to get this next part, we need to talk about a concept called chirality, but it's actually really simple. Just look at your hands. Go on, hold them up. They're mirror images of each other, right? But you can't lay one perfectly on top of the other. Well, a lot of the molecules essential for life are exactly the same. They come in a left-handed version and a right-handed version. Chemically, they're identical, but they're mirror images.
Now remember how Greenberg proved the dust grains were needles? Well, as starlight passes through these clouds of magnetically aligned needles, the light itself gets twisted. It becomes what we call circularly polarized light. The best way to picture it is as a twisting corkscrew of light spinning through space. And this twisting starlight, It becomes a cosmic executioner with a very, very specific target.
Whoa, are you serious? So a beam of light, just because it happens to be twisting in one direction, acts like a filter, and it only destroys one specific mirror image of a molecule and not the other one? That's insane! It's absolutely insane, but it's true. In the regions of space where our solar system was beginning to form, the light just so happened to be twisting in a way that was more easily absorbed by the right-handed molecules. This caused them to break apart. It selectively annihilated them, leaving only the left-handed ones behind. Our carbon atoms survived this cosmic attack for one reason and one reason only: pure, dumb luck. It just happened to be part of a left-handed molecule.
So our tough little left-handed molecule made it through the great filter. Awesome. Now it just needs a ride. It needs a delivery service to get it to a place where it can actually be used. And that's where the Comet Express comes in.
Decades, and I mean decades, before we could ever get a spacecraft close to a comet, Greenberg predicted that they were essentially cosmic deep freezers. He argued that they were just big clumps of these exact dust grains, perfectly preserving all that precious yellow stuff. He said they'd be dark, sticky, and loaded with organics. And then, in 1986, the Giotto mission flew right by Halley's Comet and proved him 100% right. The comet was pitch black and was covered in this organic material. So our little dust grain, carrying its precious left-handed cargo, gets swept up with billions and billions of others to form a comet. And this comet then travels for millions of years across billions of kilometers before it smashes into a young, watery planet called Earth, delivering its payload right into the primordial soup.
And this is where it all comes together. That single moments, that filtering process that happened billions of years ago in a dark cloud of gas and dust has a direct consequence that is sitting inside of you right this very second.
You see, when life started to bubble up in Earth's early oceans, it had to use the building blocks that were lying around. And because of that cosmic filter of starlight, only left-handed amino acids were delivered in any great number. Those are the building blocks of every protein in your body, every single one. And those proteins then assemble life's master molecule, DNA, into its famous double helix. A choice made by starlight billions of years ago literally determined the fundamental architecture of you.
And the most incredible part is how this wild, radical idea has just been proven right again and again and again. You know, from the Giotto mission confirming Halley's Comet was organic back in '86, to the Rosetta mission actually landing on a comet in 2014 and finding these complex molecules, to just a little while ago, the James Webb Space Telescope looking at brand new solar systems forming far away and seeing the exact same icy organic ingredients that Greenberg predicted 50 years ago. His vision is still being confirmed. It's just breathtaking.
It really is, and it all comes down to this one powerful idea. We are not separate from the cosmos. We are deeply, fundamentally connected to it. Every single cell in your body is a survivor of a 5 billion-year cosmic odyssey. We're not just looking at the stars, we're looking at our own family history. We are quite literally their ultimate creation. So, I'll just leave you with this one question. The next time you're outside and you look up at the night sky, at that huge darkness dotted with all those lights, will you see distant cold stars? Or will you see the furnace that made you, the light that shows you, and the unbelievable, impossible journey that brought you right here, right now?